Have you ever considered that what limits us most is not what we cannot see, but believing the way we see is the only way to see? I used to think wisdom came from sharpening my perception, seeing more, knowing more, being right more. But I've come to believe something very different. Wisdom does not come from a stronger perception. It comes from having more perspectives. I was reminded of this watching a film, Coda, and a remarkable Australian program, You Can't Ask That. In both, deaf people were not portrayed as lacking something. They were portrayed as possessing a way of perceiving life many of us have never even considered. And it struck me. Sign language is not merely spoken language on the hands. It is thought in motion, emotion in form, meaning in space. And suddenly I realized what we often call disability may sometimes be a perspective we have failed to value. And that thought led me somewhere bigger. Language itself shapes reality. Some cultures have words for emotions we don't even name. The Germans famously have Schadenfreude to encapsulate finding joys in another misfortunes. Then in Sanskrit there is mudito, which means to find joy in another person's happiness. Or the Spanish word sobremesa, a word given to the state of mind when friends gather for a meal and discuss all matters of life that run into the small hours. And if they can name what I cannot, perhaps they can see what I do not. And if they can see what I do not, then maybe wisdom is found in borrowing their eyes, so to speak. Think about conflict. How many arguments with a spouse, a friend, a coworker begin with the assumption, I see clearly? But what if clarity is not the issue? What if the limitation is believing your perception is complete? Because perception comes from within, and perspective requires stepping outside yourself. And that is where understanding lives. I have found the greatest breakthroughs in my life, in business, in love, in friendship, in spirit, come not when I defend my view, but when I become curious about another's. The moment I asked, what does this look like from where you stand? Once that happens, everything softened and wisdom entered. Because diversity is not just diversity of race or background or opinion. It is diversity of consciousness. Different ways reality reveals itself, and each one expands us. The deaf teach us meaning is larger than sound. Other cultures teach us thought is larger than words. Even those who have wounded us may teach us things comfort never could. Every perspective adds depth to reality. And perhaps a good life, a life by design, is not built by becoming certain of our own point of view, but by remaining available to the wisdom of other people's eyes. So I leave you with this. The next time you disagree with someone, the next time you meet someone whose life feels unfamiliar, the next time you encounter difference, don't ask, how do I defend my perception? Ask instead, what can I see through their eyes that I cannot see through mine? Because wisdom may not come from seeing further. It may come from seeing together.